Geoglyphs are earthen art pieces that are best seen from the sky. More and more of these are being found all the time in the Americas, and the Mojave Desert has lots of them. This is an arrangement of 3 circles that seem to be in kind of a random arrangement. They're about 4 feet in diameter each, too small for a person to lie down in, too small for a kind of a shelter to be built in. They're isolated from other habitation zones in a large flat area with full view to the sky. Just to give an idea of the scale of some of these, this is a geoglyph or intaglio from the Huichol Desert near the California-Mexico border, and you can see how it stretches off into the distance. You can't get a full scope of it from ground level. From the sky, it's a totally different situation. Here's a BLM map or drawing of how this geoglyph / intaglio, because there's a slight difference, would be viewed from the sky. You just can't conceive of it from the ground level. So when I see geoglyphs, I start looking for how they might interact with celestial objects, movement, things like that. So the first thing I did for this one was see if it had something to do with the path of the sun. I placed myself in alignment with the 2 circles and then let the horizon be the 3rd circle, if that makes sense. So if I stand at the midpoint of one circle and I'm aligned with the midpoint of the next furthest circle, I try to imagine what would be that far point making the 3rd circle, that far point on the horizon. Would it line up with something, with sunset or something like that, as the 3rd point on the distant horizon? So I lined my body up with those first 2 right there, and I brought out my compass. And I was happy to see that the alignment was a pretty clear east-west alignment to the furthest point on the horizon. So then what I do is I brought out my star chart app and I start looking for times of the year that are significant to indigenous ethnography. The solstices seem to be more relevant to hunter-gatherers than the equinoxes in terms of rock alignments, so I jumped straight to solstice. And the first one I went to is the summer solstice. In the star chart app, you can progress the sky to whatever date you want, and the range is enormous. You can 10,000 years or more, I think. So I just progressed the sky to June 21st and looked at where the sun would set on the horizon. So I'm going to overlay a few photos so you can get a picture of what it would look like standing in this place at sunset on the summer solstice. If you were to guess that my heart started dancing a jig when I saw this, you would be correct. This was a pretty exciting alignment. So then I started thinking, all right, there's the summer solstice, fantastic. Well, perhaps we also have the winter solstice. So then I changed my stance and decided to align myself with the 2 circles to the left there. So there's this one that's right in front of us and then that one off to the left. I aligned myself with the center of these 2 circles and I brought out my compass. Now, just for point of reference, the summer solstice sets the most northerly on the horizon of the year, and the winter solstice sun sets the most southerly on the horizon of the year. The alignment that I'm standing at has the more southern trajectory. So the next thing I do is bring out my star chart app and progress it to the winter solstice, December 21st. And there it is, aligned with my compass. Lovely! So here's how that would look, overlaid with the geoglyph and the horizon. Isn't this fantastic? I'm really interested in archaeoastronomy, and I tend to apply it to a lot of rock art. That's one of the first tests I run on a piece of rock art when I find it, is how it interacts with the sky. I don't think a lot of people do that, and I think that there is a lot to be learned by applying archaeoastronomy to rock art and especially ground alignments like geoglyphs and intaglios. You might be asking why I chose sunset instead of sunrise. Technically, it would work both ways on a rock alignment like this one that's laid out under the open sky. But on rock art panels, that tends to not be the case. Typically, it's one or the other, because the panel will have its back to the sun at some time of day, either sunrise or sunset, and the shadows won't interact the same with the art. Also, in a lot of the known ethnography, sunset on the solstices seems to be the more relevant time of day, especially on the winter solstice, because the winter solstice, the sun sets the most southerly on the horizon. It's the shortest day of the year, and even in our Western culture, it marks the beginning of the year, because it's when the sun will stop falling off the earth, as it would seem, and the days start becoming longer and longer. But that time of the year when the sun is at its lowest and at its dimmest and the days are the shortest it's a pretty intense time of the year in indigenous culture, because it's a time when it's of uncertainty. You're not sure if the sun's going to be coming back. So, there would be right behavior and prayer and things that need to be addressed throughout the year to make sure that the sun will return to give us all the things we need for life. So that winter solstice sunset is really important. There's a petroglyph out in Arizona at the Petrified Forest National Park at Puerto Pueblo that I time-lapsed, and just for fun, just to show you how a rock art panel can have an extremely impactful interaction with sun and shadow at one time of the day, but not at another. So it's very particular to a certain time of day, sunrise or sunset. So I'll just show you that now. This is sunrise. Watch how the sun snake licks the spiral. Isn't that fantastic? Watch it again. Oh my goodness. And just one more little bonus, this appears to be a tool set that my friend Wayne found out at the circles. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please just stay tuned for a few more seconds right to the end of the video, and have a wonderful day. May the fire inside you continue to burn brightly. Indulge me in just one moment of shameless self-promotion, please. I have some new items in my art shops. I make Huichol bead art. I press tiny glass beads into beeswax and pine pitch to make mosaic bead art. So we've got these lovely little doggies in the shop, also sugar skulls for Halloween, and lots of other confections to behold. You can go to theancientsouthwest.com and click on Art Shop, or you can go directly to Etsy, and the shop is called EyeOfGodArt, all one word, etsy.com/shop/EyeOfGodArt. Thank you.